Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about 25 blog post formats that bring in traffic. By now, you know what a blog is. You may even be considering starting one of your own. It's a great idea if you want to be sure you get found online. However, you may not quite know what to do. While we've shared some ideas in the past to help you get your content together, you may still need some help. Today, I want to share a few blog post formats that are going to help get you off the ground. 25 of them to be exact. And if your site's already built correctly and ready to get leads, the traffic boost that these are going to bring will directly impact your bottom line. Your business needs a blog to grow online. The benefits of blogging aren't a secret. They're crazy good for your SEO, they nurture your audience through the buying process, and when done right, they build huge credibility for you and your brand. Nowadays, they're going to be what sets you apart from your competition. It means that if you want your business to exist 10 years from now, you need to have a solid content strategy that revolves around, or at least includes, a blog. Use these blog post formats to help drive traffic. Today, I want to make sure you know how to turn that valuable information that you want to share into a blog post that people want to read. These blog post formats are exactly that, and I've got 25 of them to get you going. There are more formats than these out there, but just about anyone should be able to handle these ones without an issue. Make a great list article, aka listicle. I'm a huge fan of the listicle. Lists are a great way to organize thoughts, get a point across, and offer a wide range of information. They're also some of the most shared content on the web. Listicles have the advantage of requiring smaller bits of knowledge, making them easier to break down into micro content. After all, every number on that list can stand on its own. That means your content creation process is way simpler. If you've got your own clothing brand, for example, you might make a list of the best ways to accessorize with your products. As a groomer, you might put together a list of the lowest maintenance dog breeds. As a content marketer, I put together the list you're watching now, and I also recently put together a list of 15 great marketing strategies that any small business can use. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, there's always a list you can make. That means there are endless possibilities for making this particular format useful. Get your vlog started. By now, you ought to know what a vlog is. I mean, you're watching one, right? If you don't, you need to catch up. A vlog is literally a blog done on video. People love video content and they want to see more of it. That means you need to get on the bandwagon. The great part about vlogs is that they're really affordable. Don't believe me? Let me prove it. Look at your phone. It has a camera, right? I assume you have a Google/YouTube account, right? Congratulations. You can start a vlog for exactly $0. Vlogs also give you the choice of being formal or informal. But what do I mean by that? If you want to make a formal vlog like we tend to, like this one is, you can write out a complete blog and record a scripted version of it on the vlog. Your other option, to do things a little more informally, is to forego the script and the blog completely, set up the camera, and just start talking. Either way, you can create great, engaging content for very little cost. Collect some great tips from your industry. You know, there are tons of experts in your industry, and they've all got great tips for any of your target audience. This blog format is where you're going to gather a whole bunch of those tips about one topic in one place. Creating an article like this is simple. Again, you have two choices. First option is simply to scour the internet looking for expert opinions on any given topic. As you read different blog articles, scan social media posts, listen to podcasts, and watch videos, you can pull quotes about the topics from those experts. Compile these together and include a link back to your source. You can even expand on the ideas if you want. Your second option is the one-question interview. Email, direct message, tweet, or otherwise contact a ton of experts. Ask them all the same question. Compile their answers in exactly the same way. There's no need to link to the source because in this case, that's you. Again, expand on their answers if you feel inclined. Either way, it's a great way to create shareable content for two reasons. Number one, you don't have to be the creative one. You're getting answers from others. Number two, these often come in the form of a listicle, making them even more shareable. Break down a recent keynote. Anyone who attends seminars, either in person or virtually, has seen a great keynote. If you haven't yet, go do a quick TED Talk search. There's so much great information to hear and learn from keynotes it astounds me, and clearly, as the cost and attendance of conferences rises, I'm not the only one. A great source of traffic-inducing, shareable content can come from those keynotes. From one perspective, the person giving the keynote can take advantage of that content for quite some time. Take a look at what Gary Vaynerchuk has done for a while. But for those of us who tend to watch more keynotes than we give, it's not against the rules for us to offer our takeaways. Go back to the notes you hopefully took on the keynote. Share a summary of what the talk was about and who gave it. Create a blog post that expands on your viewpoint on what was said. Share your remaining questions, your resulting ideas, or your residual concerns about the speech. And if it was a recent live keynote that others may have tweeted about, include some of the tweets about it in your post. Make a checklist for your audience. I mentioned people love lists. They love checklists even more. People love to tick off the boxes to get them to a goal. I mean, you know the feeling every time you go to a grocery store or finish a to-do list. Am I right? Checklists are such a simple type of content to make that it's foolish not to use them. Think about something your potential clients might want to do, like prepare to buy from you. What steps do they need to take to be ready? Are there things they should have in place? Simply list out these items, the brief description of what they are, and why your audience should have them ready. As an example, if you sell cars, you might want to create a new car buying checklist. I recently did a 10-point checklist for digital marketing. Once you have your checklist down, share it to get people started down the path to becoming your client. Interviews with industry leaders. I mentioned the one-question interview earlier. It's a great way to get input on a single question, but once you build a bit of a relationship with an industry leader, interviewing them in full about your industry is a great next step. It's also a great way to tap into their audience. Interviews are helpful ways of providing a perspective to your readers that you may not otherwise have. You could do them live and one-on-one, recording their answers to your questions for later transcription or as part of a podcast or vlog, or you could send an email with a list of questions and get their answers in return. The goal is to get as much information as possible that your audience might want to know. If you need ideas to spark questions, consider what insights do they have about your industry? How do they feel about upcoming innovations or changes in your field? Do they have any expert advice they could offer your audience? Are there any unique lessons that they may have learned along the way? RankWatch did an interview with us a little while back, and their email question format was really fantastic. I definitely recommend you look it up and see what they did, and you can check out our answers about SEO. A Cliffs Notes post. Everyone knows what Cliffs Notes are. Some of us would have never gotten through school without them. The fact is that some people need content broken down into a format that's a little easier to comprehend. Cliffs Notes style posts are going to work a lot like a keynote breakdown, except they'll be about something that's maybe a little more difficult for people to understand. Maybe it's a great book your audience might want to know about. It could be about an online course they might be interested in. Consider the top things you learned from that particular resource, then break them down into a format that's both easy to read and easy to share. Add some quick tools to make it even easier to share, and you're on your way to more traffic. Review of product or service. Who buys anything nowadays without first reading at least a review or 20? If that's the case, people want to know your opinions about the products or services that you use. Why not review them? When you purchase a product or service that your audience might want to use, take some time to offer the ups and downs of it. Would you recommend it to your readers? Look, if your audience is coming to you regularly for information, they're going to find your opinion valuable. You can even review several products at the same time as a list, like a review we did not so long ago about the different apps we use for content marketing. This information is also a great way to get your content into a trending topic if that product or service release is getting headlines. Create an infographic. The power of infographics can't be understated. According to Demand Gen, they can increase traffic as much as 12% by themselves. The simple reason is that they make data so much easier to understand. By visualizing information, they reduce the boring factor and create a better learning experience. While a more professional infographic is usually more beneficial, you can use a PowerPoint chart just as easily as something you had made professionally. The most important thing is that you create a visual representation of the data that gets the point across in a glance. There are tons of tools out there to help you create a great looking one, and they usually have an ROI that's well worth the time it takes to make them. Turn your content into a Slideshare. A great Slideshare presentation is like an infographic on steroids. You not only get to break down your data into something that's quick to understand, but you can also break down the sections of data. Most people know how to make a PowerPoint presentation. Slideshare is just a place to share those presentations online. However, Slideshare boasts a solid 80 million users that may see your deck. The distribution benefits are marvelous. Stick to the keys to making a great PowerPoint presentation, and you're on your way to Slideshare success. Put competing products or services side by side. Let's say there's a main product or service category that your audience might want. Within it, there are probably a few competing options. A great way to feel your content is to put two or more side by side and see how they compare. The best opportunity is if you've reviewed them individually first. Afterward, follow those reviews with a group review where you compare features, benefits, and flaws alongside each other. You won't go as far in depth, but you can offer more widespread insight. Check out the series we did a while back on different Linux distributions for a great example. These tend to make really good infographics too, if you feel up to it. Share the success of your customers. Just like in The Wizard of Oz, everyone likes to know what's happening behind the curtain. They also want to see people get what they want. That's part of the reason case studies make such effective content. You've had more than one success story with your clients. If you hadn't, you probably aren't in business anymore. Look at some of your best ones and consider which stories are the most interesting. Correspond with those clients about the ways that they've improved their situation or business with your product or service, then share the story. Also, looking forward, make sure you document what you do with future clients that may prove interesting. The more you can share about your client's success, the better. Like the case study we did a while back about one of our customers who used contests to grow their email marketing by 300%. In it, we included more than just a case study. We expanded on the method our client used and offered some advice on how our audience could do the same. It's a great example of how to make a case study work for your blog. Demo one of your products, services, or features. How would you like content that's interesting, a sales pitch, and an instructional for your existing customers? That's the versatility of a demo video. By showing off the products or services that you offer, you can hit those 3 different objectives at the same time. Demo videos are awesome because they're often done very quickly. They're also best done in one take, so it shouldn't take too much editing work. Make a couple of enhancements to the recording that points out things or enhances certain steps, add some captions of what you said, and after maybe a half hour of editing, you're ready to go. Post the video on YouTube for a 4th benefit. Start your YouTube channel. That's going to provide you with an additional content outlet as well as informative and entertaining content for your audience. Tastefully rant. I'm going to refer back to Gary Vaynerchuk for an example again. One of the most powerful pieces of content he produced was a rant to college students. It's proof that you can speak whatever's on your mind, even if it's an unpopular opinion, as long as it's done tastefully and honestly. Remember, anytime you unleash your opinion over the internet, people are likely to become upset. As long as you're tasteful, respectful, and share ample research to back your point, it's rare that you'll do any major damage to relationships. However, they can often become viral, which could plant the seeds for plenty of future relationships. Is it worth the risk? I can't say for sure. That part's up to you. If you choose to rant online though, I recommend some quality control. Find somebody who's a little more hesitant to share their opinions and have them read it over. Trust me, their inner inhibitions will help keep you from framing your rant as something that you're going to regret later. Put together the news and events of your industry. Don't tell me you don't follow the news in your industry. It's one of the most important things you should be paying attention to as a business person. You need to know what's happening that's going to affect your business. And your audience is the same. For a long time, we shared the weekly news that our audience could learn from. It worked really well, and we still often share news. By switching from news consumer to news provider, your audience will start turning to you. When you become a crucial part of their routine, they build their trust in you. Take the time to catch up on what's going on, then put your spin on it. Add thoughts, criticism, reactions. Your audience will have even more reason to consider you a trusted authority. How is pop culture affecting your industry? Pop culture has some level of impact on just about any industry. By definition, it's also popular. That makes any form of pop culture that has an impact on your business a trending topic. Anytime you see pop culture affect your industry, you've got an opportunity to make comment on it. Your audience wants to know what things affect your industry, which is why I suggested you become a news provider to begin with. They're even more interested if it's a part of popular culture. That's going to give you a great point of comment for your content. It's also going to give you the opportunity to latch on to something that's trending in the world, giving your content a boost to its visibility. Not to mention the fact that it's a great chance to have a little fun that varies from your normal posts. Document your story. When you got started in your industry, unless you were a front runner from the beginning, you look towards those who were successful in it for your inspiration. Call them your heroes. An up-and-coming football player might look to Joe Namath or Joe Montana. Investors the world over look to Warren Buffett. The gold you look for is the methods that got them the success that they had. You want to know what you can replicate. One of these days, if it's not already happening, someone's going to be looking at you. Share the things that you're doing to build your business. And don't just share the stuff that works either. Share your losses and what you did about them. Give people that behind-the-scenes access to witness the realities of trying to grow a company in your industry. No, you don't need to share trade secrets. However, you should share the reasons behind some of the things that you do. Give them something to learn from, find fascination in, or get a laugh from. Just like the Facebook video that we shared with outtakes from a previous vlog, and the one that we'll most definitely be sharing from this vlog. Trust me, watch for it. Compile a ton of tweets about a topic. I'm assuming there are occasional tweets about your industry. I'd imagine that there's probably more than you think there are. Twitter's an active place full of tons of conversations about a myriad of topics. Search out the ones revolving around a topic in your industry. When you find comments or questions that might be useful for your audience, screenshot them or grab the embed code. Put together several tweets about the topic and give commentary on them. If you've grabbed a question or two, answer them completely. It's a quick and efficient way to build solid content around ideas that people actually care about. It's also not a bad way to get examples for your posts, like the ones we've used several times, mostly about Wendy's. Bust some industry myths. I'm sure you come across a ton of misinformation about your field from your clients and colleagues alike. It can be super frustrating at times. Many times, these myths are even causing harm to your clients, giving them problems that you could probably easily fix if they weren't convinced of some false truth. A great way to deal with some of these myths is to bust them in a post. It can be incredibly fun too. Put together a list of some of the most common, frustrating, or harmful myths people believe about your industry. Explain where those myths might have come from, then expose the truth about them. It's also a great opportunity to build another infographic. For examples of myth-busting posts, you can check out some of the previous ones we've done. 13 myths about small business marketing. The top 7 SEO lies you shouldn't be fooled by. Busted 4 Windows 10 myths. I know it's a lame title. Is your web designer full of shit? How-to guides. Have you ever wondered how to do something so you looked it up on the internet? People do it all the time, and lots of times those how-to articles lead them to a company that they buy from. Sometimes it's because the DIY route is just more than they can handle. Other times, it's because the how-to led them to something else of value they didn't even know about. Either way, these are a great way to add value to your content for your clients. They're also super easy to write. That's because most of the how-to guides that you're going to write are going to be about things you already know intimately, like your product. Think about something your potential clients want to know how to do. Break it down into the smallest steps possible. Describe those steps in a way that an 8-year-old can understand. Never ever assume your audience knows what they're doing, and always come from a place that wants your audience to understand completely. If it's a well-written tutorial, like the one we recently shared about how to build your brand effectively, your reader should come away with a completed task and no issues. Questions your clients need to ask. If you're smart, you've got an FAQ on your site. Frequently asked questions are a great way to provide information to your average visitor. They also save you a ton of time by answering some of the most common questions. But have you ever considered a QSA? A questions you should ask QSA post can help teach your audience about the questions an informed buyer would ask. A real estate agent might put together a list of questions every home buyer should ask about their fixer-upper. A nutritionalist could write a series of questions relating to an athlete's diet. A web designer might mention the questions every business owner should ask before they build their online presence. Whatever your QSA is, make sure it teaches your audience what questions to ask and why they should ask them. Share the answers you'd give to those questions too. After all, those are the right answers. Share a sneak peek. The next time you're working on a special project, unless you're currently working on one, give your audience something to look forward to. Sneak previews are a great way to build customer loyalty. It gives them a sense of exclusivity by allowing them to peer into the development process. They get to see something that others can't yet see. It's also a shot for them to ask questions and give input on the project. It also has another benefit for you. When you let them in on the roadmap or timeline of the project, you're more likely to keep to your deadlines. After all, when you put a goal out there, you're more likely to stick to it to save face. That's also likely to keep you on track if you get sidetracked easily. Gotta stick to the project once you promise it. Get podcasting. Podcasts are fantastic content tools. What other way can you reach people without taking them away from their other tasks? Audio content's the only type of content that people can consume without taking them away from their regular work. They can put on headphones and do their thing while they listen. Podcasts are also incredibly easy to make. Using a service like SoundCloud, you can plug a headset into your phone and record your thoughts on any topic. Upload it to the service and get it distributed to the different podcast platforms. Eventually, you could turn it into a complete show, but in the meantime, you can talk your way to solid content. Get your thoughts into audio content that you can share to your audience. We've been podcasting for quite some time now, and it's provided great benefits for both our company and for our audience. Once you get your podcast listed on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and the other services, you'll see even more audience growth. Need to know what it takes to start a great podcast? Check out Gary Vee's blog explaining exactly how. The entertaining post. Some posts are written just for fun, or they humorously use sarcasm to get a point across. Either way, they're a lot of fun to read. Posts that are written to entertain tend to make people laugh and smile, which generally leads them to share. I don't recommend straying too far from the main topic of your blog, but you don't have to be precisely on target here. As an example, the Huffington Post wrote a completely sarcastic article on sarcasm. The meta was beautiful. You could write a post that included 20 reasons not to buy your product, which in reality are reasons to buy your product, but written sarcastically negative. I promise it'll be a ton of fun and your audience will catch on quick. Writing a parody like this can give you a great break from your standard writing and allow you to engage different parts of your creativity. And if you're clever enough, it can give you an opportunity to repurpose some of your older content, saving you some time. Put together a gallery of fails. Everyone enjoys laughing at people's failure every now and then. It's not just me. Look, if you need proof, check out what Fail Army's been doing for years now, successfully I might add. Jump into your industry and look at some of the mistakes people make that are absolutely hilarious. Compile them or comment on a single one in a post. It's an entertainment post at the next level. There are tons of examples of how things can go wrong in your industry that your audience is going to get a laugh about. You can even comment on them or give your audience advice on how to avoid that fate themselves. There's never anything wrong with expanding the value, but the best part about articles like these is that you don't have to create anything. You can just find it and curate it. That gives you a great opportunity to take a day in your posting schedule off. Plus, since people love comedy, they're more likely to share it. That means you get more exposure from a funny video or example, and you don't even have to create it. These blog post formats are a great start. If you're building a complete content marketing strategy, these formats will get you going. Once you're comfortable with them, you can start expanding on what you do. Work hard, have patience, and avoid the critical blogging mistakes that you should never make. If you could do that, you'll start seeing traffic increase along with leads. That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you for joining us. We hope that this content brings you value. We hope it helps you get your blog off the ground. We hope it helps you start bringing in the leads to your website that you want. Take the advice, put it to use immediately. Don't wait, and start seeing the results that it can generate right off the bat. We'll be here the second Friday of next month, and we're also working towards producing some of our old content into videos. So if you follow our YouTube channel, you'll definitely be able to get more information more frequently coming up in the near future here. If this provided any real value to you, hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments the most helpful part, and we'll see you next month. While I still have you, I want to clue you into one of the great tools that we have for those of you that are just starting out your blog or maybe just restarting your blog. We've got our guide to launching a blog. This is a PDF download that we can send you. All you have to do is fill out your first name, last name, email address in the form below. We'll send you this over, and it's going to walk you through step by step everything you need to do to get your blog started or restarted and start producing the kind of content that's going to start bringing traffic, just like the articles that we went over in this blog post. Again, one form, first name, last name, email address. We'll email it to you. You download it, you start reading it, you start putting it to use, and you can get your blog started right now. Download it now, put it to use, and we'll see you next month.